read one page, I got slapped. I never actually lost hope because I found myself feeling more motivated to accomplish everything that I've always wanted to accomplish. So I also used to pretend to be a student in Kenyatta University. I was put in prison for actually 3 weeks. The police messed up my name. So I went to jail with a fake name.
What's up guys, welcome back to our channel By Africans for Africa TV, and in this channel we promote young African people's hustles, we promote young people's work, we showcase everything that young Africans do. And today we're so honored to have a young African man who is very much determined to change Africa's narrative, Kenyan narrative. He's a writer, he's a director, he's a script director. What else am I? He's an actor.
Yeah.
What else are you doing and what are you not doing? I think you're doing everything. His name is Haroun Risa. I just want to give him a few minutes to introduce himself and tell us more about himself, and then we'll continue with the interview.
Hello everyone, my name is Haroun Risa. I am an actor, author and scriptwriter from Nairobi, and I've also featured in both local and international film and TV productions like Netflix second season of Sense8, the Kenyan feature film 18 Hours, and also the local TV show Varshita, alongside some other advertisements including Safaricom.
Wow, awesome. What haven't you done in this world, Haroun?
Just slow down. Just take a deep breath. What happened to her?
Raven paramedics, what's your emergency?
Now tell me, what happened?
Me, I'm not joking. They're not just stories. Ghosts are everywhere, man. Skiza. Those are spirits of the dead passing by.
Buda. Anyways, bonga na sauti ya chini lazima ushote kila mtu tu ya. Unajua kuhusu ghost. Tuliza. Mama.
So I just want to ask you maybe give us a context, you growing up, and what is it that really groomed you to become everything that you are today? Could you maybe trace it back to your childhood, and what influenced this Haroun that you are seeing today?
Well, actually, with matters concerning art history, it's not something that was accepted by my family at first. So I guess you could say in the family I was the black sheep. But funny enough, I never actually lost hope because I found myself feeling more motivated to accomplish everything that I've always wanted to accomplish. And I've never looked back on that. So I kept myself going, and with matters concerning writing, I don't know why, but Dan Brown's work was one of the major things that inspired me to start my own versions of fiction, to start my own work. So I guess you could say I started on phone. You know, I just started just like this.
Typing on your phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, you just download Microsoft Word on phone and then you type from there. Because at that time I didn't have a computer. So I also used to pretend to be a student in Kenyatta University. I used to pretend to be a student. I get inside there to do the proofreading and editing.
Wow.
So I started from there until some years back, and then I was able to get at least one stepping point, which was a computer at least to use.
Yeah.
So currently it's 4 novels I've been able to publish on Amazon.
Wow. So let me trace you back. Maybe you can tell us when you were in primary school or high school, what were you doing that you can now relate to today and say, I used to maybe write some poems or stories in my school English maths. You know some when in primary school you have maths book, exercise book, you have English book. If
The same book.
No, like different book.
Okay.
So if you were to write some stories which are not maths in a maths book, your teacher would beat you. So Haroun, did you do something of the sort?
Actually, I used to fill up counter books.
Wow.
Especially with matters English composition. Okay, with Insha, Kiswahili wasn't so appealing, but English, well, the composition. I used to fill up pages. Every time I'm writing a composition, I'm filling up everything. I was the student who used to go for pages. So everyone's just looking and they're like, and then they just see another page, another page, another page.
Yeah, I know your type. You're the people who after maybe 20 minutes, composition
It's 40 minutes.
It's 40 minutes. So after like 10 minutes, you are going to tell the teacher, I need an extra one.
And then the teacher, most times, the teacher would actually have a difficult time with marking English compositions. 32 imekansoliwa, 34 imekansoliwa, and then imekuwa 36.5 out of 40 or 38.5.
Wow.
So it used to be like that. And then one day in class 7, that was before class 8. That was the time when KQ Flight 507 crashed.
Yeah, that is in Cameroon.
Yeah, the one that was coming from Cameroon,
Yeah.
from Douala.
Well, yeah.
I wrote a composition based on that. I wrote a composition based, a fictional story, but based on that story. The teacher was like,
This is not normal.
a young boy doesn't write like this.
This is not normal.
My late parent was called to school.
Wow.
My late parent was like, the teacher was like, no, you have to tell me, what kind of TV programs does your child watch? So during that time, it was programs like 24, Elias, Prison Break. I used to really like following up on those programs a lot. So I was also inspired by those programs and how they were created. So I decided I was also going to go down that road and create programs like that. Only the location is Kenya. So with my mother, she read one page, I got slapped, and then she was like, "Hizi ndio vipindi zenye mimi hukataza." The way you mothers always do this. The way this is done. She always did that. And so the difference now is that she's
That's
in
a
military
real
uniform.
mother. Wow. Oh
So
my
now you
God.
can imagine, you literally have Wangari Maathai in military uniform in the house. And it's to the point where you're even calling her madam. You don't even see mom. You just see madam. So you're just like, who you see mama, who ni madam.
Now, how did you even pursue? How did you now even continue with the journey? Because this is something that you took out of school,
Yeah.
and currently you have like a series of books. Yeah, is it 4 or 5?
Currently it's 4.
It's 4. How
The
did you?
fifth one is
Yeah.
being, I'm working on the 5th one currently.
Wow.
So even in high school, I guess you could say that life was pretty difficult, because I've seen my own fair share of things like child abuse. I've seen my own fair share of even running away from home. I mean, there were times that your parent literally smashes a stool and picks up those legs and uses them to beat you up with them. So you can imagine the kind of parent you're dealing with. It's the kind of parent you don't even feel safe around. And then you've got siblings who also, they don't like the fact that you have the characteristics of your father. So you're literally the black sheep in the family. You're just you alone. The first time, of course, when I ran away from home, well, I became a houseboy. That was around Thika.
And this time, are you in high school?
Yeah, Form 2. I was in Form 2. I didn't run away from home. It was from school. I used school as the
escape.
as the location, the escape location. And this is a story that I actually wrote down. I wrote everything down, and I hid everything from family members, because if my family members see that story, they'll come for my neck. But I don't care now. Of course, now I don't care.
Yeah.
So in that time, I became a houseboy in Thika. So it was my way of hiding from my mother. And the lady who I worked for, considering I did a lot of the work around here, the housekeeping and everything. The lady I worked for was working at a bank somewhere, and she had this young girl who had just finished high school. So during that time, the young girl was just idle in the house. She just finished high school and she's just there. She's really clueless about Nairobi. So I never really bothered with her. It got to a point where the owner of the house made sexual advances towards me. So, of course, at that time I had to make a decision. If I say yes, I keep my job. If I say no, I get kicked out. So, of course, I had to say yes, but I messed with her mind, so she ended up using protection, which was a good thing for me. And during that time, a lot of people with Subaru Foresters, they go to Vika and do all this racing with super bikes. So there were times I would go at night to watch them. A police crackdown happened and I got arrested. But because of my height, I looked like a campus student. So when I got inside the police cells, actually the police messed up my name. So I went to jail with a fake name. Actually, yes.
You were put in prison.
I was put in prison
In a cell.
for actually 3 weeks. Wow. With a fake name.
But where is your mother this time?
And of course, everyone's trying to find me.
Because they thought he went to school, eh?
Of course they know he's
So it's a boarding school. So
at school I may report
the school, of course, the school have suspended me. So I've been told that if I come home with a suspension letter, I am finished.
Yeah.
So if I go home with that suspension letter, I'm dead. Because my mother will react with anger. So I had to run away. So the administration of the school is what told them. We gave them fare. We thought he was going home. We did not know that he diverted. So me, I'm in prison. Me, I'm just there with other young men and young women. A week later, guess who was put into the female prison cells?
The same lady.
The young girl.
The young girl from the house.
The young girl from the house. She had that primary school dress that a lot of ladies wear when they're in primary. That one that has a rope. Yeah. No one touched her. In that cell, no one touched her. Considering I was the only one who knew her, of course I talked to her because I was like, what?
Boy, what are you doing here?
She introduced herself. Her name was Naomi. And that's when I got to learn about human trafficking in Kenya.
Okay.
So that's when I knew that the boss was a trafficker. And this girl was being taken from Kilifi. She was an orphan who was living with her grandmother in Kilifi. She was taken from Kilifi. She was put in Vika. The next place she was being taken was abroad. Abroad,
And how
like
did she end up
Italy.
in the cell?
So she was trying to run away, but she was clueless about a lot of things. So the lady is trying to punish her. So I teamed up with Naomi. I was like, okay, tutaungana pamoja, we will do this together. So tutarudi Kilifi. Haya. So it's Kilifi that will go back because me, I'm not safe going back home.
Yeah.
So you have a new...
So we have like, okay, we'll go to your grandmother in Kilifi.
Okay.
And then we'll start from there. I'm pretty sure if I had made it to Kilifi, I'd be a beach boy today.
So you never made it to
Listening
Kilifi?
to your story.
Of course, with the prison, we stayed for like 3 weeks, and the prison tukaachiliwa. We did a few jobs here and there. She was working with a few ladies kwa vibanda. Mimi naye ni mtu wa mkono kwa mjengo kidogo. And then at night we sleep in accommodation centers. We pay like 500. We sleep together.
Yeah.
Same bed, same room. So of course, we learned about badminton. Technically how every one of us got here.
Yeah.
And then we had amassed enough money. We had saved up enough, like 5,000. 5,000 was a lot of money back then. Because those days there was simu ya jamii during those days.
Yeah.
So 5,000 was a lot of money. So the house help I had called using simu ya jamii, she used to work with us. Her name was Jambi. But she was a good person. You know those good people in here. Jambi is the one who was guiding me on what to do. So Jambi is the one who told me, get to CBD, and then you go down River Road looking for buses at Coast. Ukishashuka Mombasa, of course from Mombasa to Kilifi, hiyo mtapanga tu.
Yeah,
But Naomi knows the grandmother's place, so Naomi is the one to direct you.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, a cyber cafe lady had read the newspaper. I was already in the newspaper as a missing person.
Yeah.
I was already on radio as a missing person. The next move was TV.
Wow.
The cyber cafe lady saw me. So that day, I just gave Naomi the money I had. Because me nilikuwa nimeshapatikana.
Yeah.
Whether she even made it to Kilifi, I have no idea to this day. Never.
So let me ask
Naomi
you.
just...
So umeachia at form 2, sindio?
Well, actually,
Did you
I came
go back to school?
I came
Or
back
you
to
went
school.
back to school and then you finished?
I came back to a day school. A day school here called Kanotunga.
Okay.
So it was my mother's way of keeping me close.
Yeah. Wow.
So that is how your professional journey now. The stories that
you
you've
the
done,
writing,
you can read
the writing
it
started
now.
from
Yeah,
there.
wow, yeah, exactly.
Guys, if we have not talked, but we are going to talk about it, is the first book, Mombasa Raha, my foot is on human trafficking and
Sex tourism.
sex tourism.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
you can see where his inspiration is coming from. Eh?
So of course when I was found, the cyber cafe lady wanted the prize money.
Yeah.
So for me, I just knew I cannot endanger Naomi. So I gave her the money that I had. Decided, okay, well, I hope you get to your grandmother and stay off trouble.
Yeah.
Whether she made it, I don't know.
And you know, then it was not like now everybody has his phone. There was simu ya jamii, like he's saying. This was a phone. It's like after the booth, you know the booths.
Yeah, we have those.
It came simu ya jamii. Like it's you find someone with a shop,
A vendor.
and a phone where you pay, you
and
call.
you use the phone.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to call in Njambi, the former house help we had
Yeah.
before we moved into Mwihoko in 2008. Because 2008 is when we moved here.
And Njambi, you knew Njambi before you.
Njambi, I didn't know her that much, but she worked with us before I finished KCB.
Okay.
So 2008 is when we moved here for the first time. That time, of course, that time I was in Form 1, so
Yeah.
there were a lot of issues at that time. So I guess you could say school had its own drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was able to pull through until Form 2.
So we know your inspiration is coming from.
But I was able to finish KCSE.
So after high school, now you have this dream of becoming Dan Brown, right?
Yeah.
So what did you do now after high school so that you can reach your dream? Did you start now the writing?
The writing officially started around 2011 because 2011 is when I went looking for my father.
And when okay, this is how many years after high school?
2011 is when I finished high school.
High school, okay. Because the reason I'm asking this is, you know, when you're in high school or primary school, you have biology, chemistry, maths.
So many lessons to learn.
Yeah. So you don't focus on your dream very much. But now after high school, you have all the time to focus on the one.
What happened in 2011? That's when, of course, that's when I found my father in Kajiado. But it's something that really angered my mother. But that's the point where I stood my ground. That is the point where I decided these people need to stop behaving like children for once.
And maybe give our viewers a background on why are you finding your father after
that time. Well, it was because they split up when I was in class 2. That was around like Tok. We used to live around like Tok that time. And there were a lot of issues between them. Even my elder brother had tried running away from that place, running away to Arusha. Well, my father was the Kukudenja type of guy. So there was another lady, before even we were born, there was another Tanzanian lady who had given birth to some of his children. So I hear my brother tried running away to Tanzania together with those stepchildren. My mother found out, but beat him up so badly he fell unconscious. Well, yeah, he literally fell unconscious. So that became a big issue at that time. But then some years later is when they split up and my mother tried the immigration thing, tried to go to the UK. There were even those passports of us when we were like class 2, we were like babies.
She tried to...
But it never worked because my father refused to sign those documents.
Oh, yeah, the consent. Eh?
Yeah.
My father refused consent. He was like, you're not taking my children anywhere. So we were put in boarding school, Musagitao Primary. I was in class 3, my elder brother was class 6. So we stayed class 3, 4, 5.
That is supporting primary school.
Musagitao Primary, one of the biggest.
One of the famous in Kenya.
One of the most famous. Even with matters theatre, especially with matters theatre and drama, Musagitao Primary is very well known. Very well known. That's where even, I think you know the musician Jimwat. Jimwat's mother used to be the head matron.
Company under 18. You know that song?
Yeah. That was Sasa, his mother used to be the head matron in that school.
Okay.
So you used to see Jimwat even before he started his music career.
You saw him trying to do things.
His hair was bigger.
Yeah.
He shaved a bit. And then some years later, then he started music. So going to 2011, after standing my ground, I decided to stay with my father, and I had already registered for KCSE. So I had the index number.
Okay.
The school was a Githurai one, but they had a branch. They had a boys boarding branch in Kangundo, Joska.
Yeah.
So I went there as a boarder. The people in the Githurai branch, it's only the administration, the head teacher who knew. So the head teacher is the one who knew. It's not even the kid who's the problem. The problem is the kid's mother. The kid's mother is very abusive. Even the head teacher began realizing it was like, it's not even the kid who's the problem. Even the father is very mature about this. The father has already moved on with children. Well, that's his life anyway, good for him.
Yeah.
So when I moved into 2011, that is the moment I told myself, it's about time we started this right. I have no other time to do this. So I used to just get counter books, and in that year I used to do sand harvesting. So I used to do...
Where are you harvesting sand?
We were harvesting sand in Kajiado, deep inside Kajiado, and also along Kwamutalia, Joska Kwamutalia, Kangundo Road. So with the harvesting of sand, of course I would do it at night, because at night there are no brokers.
Yeah.
The brokers are the ones who take your money most. So during the day it's not profitable. But during the night you have to be careful about wild animals.
Yeah. And you know sand harvesting happens along rivers.
And then you have to be chased away by Masai reservists who have been paid by NEMA. They've been paid by NEMA to chase sand harvesters away. So you have to go from one river to another to about 3 rivers. You're doing 3 rivers to fill up one truck. And then when you're dropped off, so you wait for another truck. That's what I did in that year for my own pockets. So with the other people from Githurai, when they came to the boys boarding branch for KCSE, seeing me, they were shocked. They were like, we thought you dropped off. Uli drop out shule. You were here this whole time. He was like, yes. I was always here. I made a deal with the principal. My father talked to the principal. The school is like 6,000 per term. So it's one of those ghetto schools.
Yeah,
6,000 per term. So the principal was like, I've not seen any problem with this boy. This boy amekaa tu ametulia. Most times najifungia tu na mambo yangu with writing, reading novels, kutembea around. Nikajionea vituko, and then sasa 2012 I had to stay with my stepbrother in Kayole. There's a stepbrother I found. He wanted to see my father.
Okay.
So he told me that ni wewe utanipeleka. So he brought his Uber. Well, I don't know if it was an Uber by that time, but he used to drive someone around with a car.
Yeah.
So he used that car, we went off to Kajiado, and then he met his father for the first time. 2012 was where acting began, and the script writing, the film and TV industry, basically taking it as a career. It started around 2012, and I made sure that from that time onwards, I made sure that I've learned everything that I need to learn about making movies in Kenya, about making TV shows in Kenya. And one thing I've also realized is that we really need to take seriously the way we tell stories, because the days of your Jamaa Kamani are over. We're in a new world, we're in a new generation where we need to tell more accurate, more believable stories. Because the audience is always smarter than you think. Always. And I always feel sad when I see programs like Sultana. Programs zingine, they're just there. Okay, I'm using Sultana as an example.
For fun,
They're
for
just
entertainment.
there. Programs that do not even, they don't even take the cast and crew forward. And you find that even the audience isn't even interested in wanting to know more about the people who made this product. So that's when I decided with Matters script writing, that's something I'll put it on board. With Matters acting, I'm also there. So that's how I started with 2012. I started as an extra in Lies That Bind. Lies That Bind was an interesting show. They used to shoot around Muthaiga. So we used to go around there as extras as we learn more about the film industry, and we get to meet some people. We get to also meet others, others who have some really bad attitudes. Some are teaching us some good things. Some teach us some new things. So that's how I even learned about KU. And back then, the film department, the film and theatre department was inside the main campus. So it was easier.
So you went to a DMI, yeah?
A DMI is the school I went to.
And they were working with KU or?
No, ADMI is a different school.
Okay.
Yeah, ADMI is totally different.
Okay.
But ADMI is a very good school for anyone who wants to study in anything in the media industry.
I've just heard a lot of, you're bringing me into the next question. When you're saying you go to some places where you network with other people, that's where maybe they get to know you, they get to see your work. I'm just wondering, how else do you market your work when it comes to your books, the 4 series that you have already? Are they finalized? Are they all published and finalized? How do you get yourself a good publisher, for example? And how do you now take them out to the market for other people to support your work?
Currently, I have no publisher. Currently, I have no publisher. I have no publishing deal. But what I did was Amazon KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. Amazon KDP is a brilliant publishing tool for anyone who is starting as an author. It's brilliant. Of course, with writing, you just write on Microsoft Word and do the proofreading and editing later. So with Amazon KDP, that's how I started with writing with the novels and the cover design as well. And in the process, I learned a lot more about how to market online. I learned a lot more about how I can share excerpts. I would share some excerpts of what I've written
from the book,
from any book, and then I put the link there so that people can click on the link and then they see the book and they are like, hey, you did this by yourself. So the one question I've always had from people when they see all those 4 books on Amazon, they always ask me, how are you able to do this? I have all these resources. I've tried 1 book. I'm still stuck in that 1 book. I'm still stuck in that 1 book. You've done 4.
How?
The first one is 479 pages. How? Me, I just tell them, it's very important to have self-determination. It's really important to have self-determination in accomplishment of goals. Because from the way everybody left me behind here, they all expected depression, they all expected drugs, they all expected you will fall down. But then they were all shocked because they realized, tumekaa hii time yote, but you're still in one piece.
You're still doing okay.
And when someone looks at me, they think I'm 21 years old. But currently I'm 28. So when someone, even in auditions, they look at me and they're like, huh? How? you're sure you're not, let me see your ID. They always do that. So for me, I'm just like, I'm already used to this. Check ID. Here. Do your ID umejionea. So they look at me and they're like, you're this young and you've done all this by yourself. And I'm like, because if there's one thing that helped me overcome all the dark periods in this in my life, well, there was a time I collapsed in the street because of anemia. I was with a few friends of mine, I collapsed in the street. That was sometime after tumetoka in my I collapsed, but later on ndo nikaamuka, ndo nikajikuta nimepelekwa EEG scan. Nimefanyiwa sasa EEG scan. My aunt came, so she's like, okay, he collapsed where? No, he collapsed somewhere in the street, lakini alikuwa karibu na shule. Okay. So that's when the Indian doctor, ndio sasa kanikalisha chini akaniambia, don't worry, there are no psychological issues, but your red blood cells count is extremely low, which is anemia. That's what you currently have. So he's the one who introduced me to meditation. Most times, I even play the tracks here. I do my own meditation here at night. I just do my own meditation hapa nikiwa peke yangu. And then when it gets late into the night, I just go to bed.
Yeah.
And then first thing in the morning, I always make sure there's a bottle of water. First thing in the morning, that's what I drink. I don't even things like tea and coffee. These are things that asikunywangi. Even things like alcohol. I found myself adapting to that a lot. And I found myself feeling more strong and feeling that motivation to keep yourself going. Because you are your own nurturing parent now. No one else is here to fulfill your dreams for you. It's only you and you alone. So that's how I kept myself going without even my siblings, without everybody else. And later on, there are these phone calls I started getting from my elder sibling. And you know, it's like he's afraid of talking to me because he's realized these guys learned how to live without me. These guys learned how to live on his own. He has now adapted to be himself. So there's that kafia that he has. That's why even with phone calls, M-Pesa, nothing. 6 years down the line, that I can tell you for sure. But in that whole process, I told myself the novels are one of the things I'm going to use to bring myself out here. And the novels, now that 4 of them are on Amazon, these novels are going to be adapted into films and TV productions. And I've started with the first one, Mombasa Raha.
Yeah. So actually fasting and meditation keeps you young, eh? You know that.
Oh, there is it.
There is
I'm learning. That's a passion.
meditation and hatha yoga. So the Indian doctor introduced me to that, and he also told me to even drink a lot of fruit juices.
Guys, are you getting that? Eh? You want to stay
With
here?
a lot of alkaline fruits. Reduce acidic intake of foods and increase alkaline intake. And increase water intake. Reduce caffeine intake first thing in the morning and increase water intake. So when I was told to do all these things, when I started doing them, you know, even in my case, you know, I just found myself feel okay. And I'm looking at people my age, a good number of them are old, like really old. And of course,
These people younger than you are older than you.
people younger than me, they look too old. They're like, I'm just looking at someone and I'm like, surely.
How did you get there?
How did you get to be like
But I
this?
think even alcohol makes
Yeah, it
people
does.
grow.
Yeah, it contributes.
Yeah. So
And alcohol and substance abuse in general.
So imagine this a young guy who is maybe in primary school or high school who wants to be where you are with 4 books. What can you advise them? What can you tell them?
You have no excuse to lose hope, particularly on yourself. You have no excuse to lose hope, no matter what it is that even your family members, no matter what it is that people are going to tell you about your career, about what you've always had a passion to fulfill. You have no excuse to lose hope on yourself. fulfill the dreams you've always wanted to fulfill and never give up on them. Because that's what my siblings did.
Yeah.
They didn't fulfill their dreams. Because with my younger sister, she would have been a great basketball player now. In fact, my cousin's name is Silale Oleshani, one of the best basketball players this country has ever had.
Wow.
She's even recognized by NBA. I gave my sister that her phone number and I was like, let her be your mentor in basketball. At least that's one way you can start building your own career. But of course she never listened. Well, with her, I guess you could say a few months after tumemzika mzazi, akaishi na auntie yangu, and that's how she learned alcohol. And ever since then, well, she's never been the same till now. So for me, I just say, I just wish you all the best.
Yeah.
But Mimi, I have my own career to fulfill. And of course, if I fulfill it without you, Mimi, I'm just thankful that I did what my purpose. I did my purpose here on earth. I fulfilled my purpose. And my purpose is to inspire.
Exactly.
My purpose is to use my skills to inspire others, not just to tell their stories, but also to fulfill their dreams as well.
Exactly. So we are looking at you wanting to adapt these books into film.
Yeah.
So are we expecting, or there's already something online there in YouTube or in Netflix? Which
Well, currently I haven't shot anything. Currently I've not done any productions yet because we are currently in pre-production.
okay.
We are looking for producers to come on board with our projects. We are looking even for funding. And these are things that you cannot just do in one day.
Exactly.
These are things you will do for many years. It might even take many years before you even break even.
Yeah.
But based on what I'm actually planning to do with the film, I want to make sure once this film is finally out, this will be Kenya's Oscar submission.
Great.
This will be Kenya's Oscar submission once the film has been done, because I plan to even use soundtracks. I plan to use Kenyan songs
As
soundtracks.
Yeah.
There are various songs that we are going to agree upon together with the creators of the songs themselves. But the one thing, of course, that's going to be a lot of work is the locations, finding locations mostly.
Exactly. Yeah. 'Cause
The locations is going to be a big issue. Because a lot of
but the
locations.
adaptation of the first novel, Mombasa Raha, My Foot, is the coastal Kenya, right?
Yeah, the locations are both Nairobi and Mombasa.
Okay.
Because of the trafficking.
Yeah, because of that. So of course I plan to use the film also to show people that human trafficking and sex tourism in Kenya still continues to this day. This is something that affects people, and a lot of people in the coast have gotten used to this lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's even a saying, translated it says, nothing gets a family out of poverty faster than a daughter with a white boyfriend.
That is the...
I learned that from Haart Kenya. Haart Kenya is the NGO that deals with human trafficking.
Wow.
So
that is the mentality that the people have.
they have that mentality a lot.
And I think it's in most parts of Africa.
And I think there's a time you mentioned that they could even go to the extent of selling their family members.
Selling
These
family
white
members,
people.
female family members,
Yeah.
So you give out your daughter for money.
Yeah.
You give out your daughter for cash, and then the pedophile goes and has fun with the daughter. I mean, that's messed up. Totally messed up.
It's crazy.
I've even seen documentaries done by KTN News about human trafficking in Kenya, and I've talked to even Amnesty International Kenya. These are NGOs I would like to bring on board with this project.
Yeah.
Because even with matters premiering the film, of course I'd like it to be an official event.
Yeah.
Somewhere like IMAX Garden City,
Yeah.
premiering the movie there. So you find that even the Ministry of Tourism get invited to watch this film, so that they can see that there are people who are actually doing something by their own efforts, doing something against this vice.
Yeah.
Because for me,
Even to sensitize society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is happening.
even to sensitize society about human trafficking, and being careful about migrating and just looking at any foreigner and just asking them, hey, can I come to your country? So you have to be careful about who that foreigner is, where they come from, and why they are here.
And we currently had an instance, so there's a case that this lady
There's a
got-
From Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
The lady from Saudi Arabia.
yeah. We can zoom.
And on top of that, there's a case that's been trending of a lady from Kenya who just disappeared.
Yeah, after getting into a phone call with this guy, and
Mhm.
she eventually went.
No, I think she was leaving the US. Then she met a white person, and
They just
They
The
were
mom is
living
still-
together.
yeah.
they were living together. Then she disappeared. The guy is saying she left with her clothes, but now the guy went on to use her bank.
That's how extreme it is. It's just that nobody's telling
Nobody's
the stories.
talking
Yeah,
about it
it's
until these things happen.
That's why I would like to have I'd like to have meaningful producers who will come on board for this project to make this film, and I would like to have a meaningful crew, a meaningful casting crew who are going to produce something that we will be proud of submitting to the Oscars.
Yeah.
Because I've seen South Africa's movie Barakat. I mean, that movie is brilliant. The story of, it's a Muslim film,
Yeah.
but these guys were even brought to Al Jazeera. Even the director, they were all brought to Al Jazeera as the stream to discuss about that movie, and it became South Africa's official Oscar submission.
Barakat.
Yeah, it's an amazing film. I won't spoil it for anyone.
Go check it out.
People will just
Check
find the
it out.
spoiler. Yeah, people will just find the trailer. You can just find the trailer on YouTube. It's a brilliant movie. I mean, the story, it's a Muslim family basically, but it's the Muslim family in Cape Town. But it's one amazing story. I mean, I saw the trailer and I was like, this movie is amazing. And they were even brought on Al Jazeera as the stream. I mean, that's how good that film was. I mean, I'd like to have Mombasa Raha, my food, to even be brought on the stream.
So before we go on, we've been talking about Mombasa Raha, my food,
Yeah.
and probably our audience
They are
are yet
wondering,
to yeah. So Mombasa Raha, my food, your first book, it's fiction and based on a true story.
Yeah.
Based on what is happening in Kenya that our media probably are not telling us, but it's happening. So, what can you tell our audience about Mombasa Raha, my food?
Well, actually, with matters concerning the book, well, people can be able to buy a copy through Amazon. People can be able to buy both the paperback, what Kenyans call a hardcover, and the hardcover edition. Well, it's those ones with those hardcovers.
Hardcover.
You have the hardcover.
No, this is paperback.
This is paperback.
Oh.
Okay, this is
Paperback
this
is
a copy of
regular.
the book, eh?
So paperback is regular, but hardcover is the one with these tough covers.
So it's only the cover that is different.
Yeah, the cover is the one that makes the difference. The cover and the book size.
So guys,
Because with the hardcover edition, hardcover is mostly 6 by 9 inches or 5.5 times 8.5 inches.
Yeah.
But regular books, mostly it's 5.25 times 8 inches.
Yeah.
That's regular books.
So guys, to support Haroun on his writing, we are leaving a link on our description. That link will take you to Amazon. I think he's working on having a local bookshop, a local
Publisher.
store or publisher.
Well, actually what I would like, I don't know if there's a Kenyan publisher who might actually be interested in my work, but if there is, I'd like to actually speak to them so that I could be able to do the printing.
Yeah.
Because printing in Kenya is quite expensive.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive. So I would like to have a very good publisher to actually give me a publishing deal so that I can be able to spread this countrywide. The first book to be spread countrywide, and people might even get to know more about this book so that people will be like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
What's this about? So people are like, okay, ebukuja.
By the way, I read the first few pages of this book and I was hooked. That is how interesting it is. The minute you open it, you don't want to put it down.
Yeah,
It's quite interesting.
It's
Good
interesting,
book, I think.
and knowing that it's trying to tell you what is happening. Guys, support Haroun. Go down there, click on the link. If you're in the US, if you're in Europe, if you're in Kenya, and you can afford maybe to get it through Western Union. You know, Amazon can ship it to you through Western Union.
Yeah, that is-
Also with the second novel, it's called Kenyan Timing Ate My Boob.
Kenyan?
Kenyan Timing Ate My Boob.
Okay.
My boob.
Yes.
Boob.
The main theme of that book is breast cancer. So the main character. Okay.
And you have this interesting titles,
Titles.
yeah?
And let me
It's
ask you,
creative.
this you said it's the series.
It's a novel series.
So in Mombasa Raha, my food, we find a lady. Her name is.
There's her name is Ruth Adhiambo Han.
So Ruth Adhiambo will be in Kenyan time.
Ruth actually will be in major novels. Of course, there are others where Ruth is not necessarily there.
Okay.
So, like in the second novel, Kenyan Timing Ate My Boob, the main theme is breast cancer, and you've got this young boy called Lemaron. Lemaron is talking about how his family got torn apart because his mother became a most wanted criminal. His mother was shot and the bullet got stuck in the left breast.
Okay.
So that's why her left breast is not as functional as the right breast, and that bullet is killing her because of breast cancer.
Okay.
So because that's the title, Kenyan
And
Timing.
now, Kenyan timing. When we talk about Kenyan timing, African timing, you know, it's all about coming late and
Yeah, being late and all.
so we are expecting something in the book which is about timing, yeah.
Yeah, because
The
of course,
suspense.
because the Lemaron's mother, her name they call her Shiro. Well, they just call her Shiro, the nickname. But Shiro is actually dying, so Shiro has very little time left to make things right, and she wants to make sure she does not go to jail before she dies. So even Shiro appears in Mombasa Raha, the first book. Shiro appears being released from prison.
Yeah.
She gets released from prison, and that's where she gets to meet people like BMW. So of course BMW
So
is
BMW is in the first novel.
BMW is the whole in all novels.
Is
Basically
the-
all novels.
So
BMW.
after helping Ruth in the first,
in the first novel,
he's in
BMW
prison with
No, BMW is not in prison.
Okay.
BMW is going to reform his own life from being a beach boy to becoming part of the journalist team,
Okay.
part of Ruth's journalist team. Because Ruth felt grateful to BMW because BMW is the one who helped Ruth find out why Catherine died.
Was killed.
Because Catherine was found dead by the inspector outside the door.
Yeah.
So Ruth has to find out, why did Catherine get involved in all this? So by Ruth getting involved in all this, Ruth gets to discover about human trafficking and sex tourism in Kenya and other vices.
And
Because-
and BMW is one of the people who are helping Ruth.
Yeah. His full name, of course, is Bernard Mwangi Washira.
Yeah.
I took that from a classmate. There was a classmate I had. His name was
Shout out
Bernard
to you.
Mwangi Washira.
Shout out to
So for me, I was like, my goodness, you have one of the best nicknames ever. I mean, you got named after a car.
We should meet him.
What is he saying about?
I've never actually come across him because it was in 2008. It was during that time.
Yeah.
But I just remembered it and I was like, you know what? As a tribute, I'm going to put one character, BMW. So for me, with the film adaptation, I get to play BMW.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
So I just told the casting director, well, Nini Washera is one of the best casting directors this country has. So I discussed with her.
She's involved in this.
I discussed with her about this. I showed her the script as well. Yeah, and I told her, for me, I'll just play the role of BMW. The other roles, you handle. You handle the casting of the other roles. You are no
So
problem.
have you started with the other casting? Has she done anything?
Well, she is very interested in playing the role of Ruth.
Wonderful. That I'm telling you with Nini.
She's very interested in playing the
being
role
now
of Ruth.
there. You know, Ruth is the main character in Mombasa Raha, my foot. I think it will be a huge one.
You're definitely casting me.
It
Because
Make sure you include me. Sawa.
the script itself,
Yeah.
what I want to include actually, if there are people who have overcome human trafficking in Kenya, I would like them to be background actors in this project.
That would be very interesting.
People who have overcome human trafficking in Kenya.
Understand it very well.
I would like them to be background actors in this film. And that's something I told Nini as well. I told her too, I was like, yeah, I would like the background actors to be people who have overcome this tragedy. So that even they, after doing this project, even they can feel that we can tell our stories too. This guy has done it.
Very true.
And he's done it through both book and film.
Yeah.
So even we can do the same. So it's my own way of inspiration to the survivors of human
Even
trafficking.
healing to them.
Even healing to them so that they can remember that this is our way of healing. By telling the world what happened and inspiring the world to live positively as well. It's how I began.
So, Haroun, you have all this information with regards to sex tourism, human trafficking. Apart from film, which of course we have heard that you want to sensitize people through film, which other ways are you looking into to give out this information to people? You know, some people might not be interested in film or might not even have a television to watch the film from.
And they might not be interested in literature as well.
Exactly, they might not be interested. So who else are you maybe working with in the Kenyan context to get this information out to the public? And maybe organizer, I've heard you mention amref. Do you have any other avenues, yeah?
The organizations that I actually would like to work with in this matter is Amnesty International and Haart Kenya. Those two organizations, I actually met them and told them about Mombasa Raha, my foods. They were very interested. They actually really liked what I did because they all told me that we've never seen anyone do this by their own efforts, like by their own decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, you just did all this kivyako.
True. Without even somebody.
Without even someone telling
you,
promising you payment, or telling you, so and so, do this for us. So actually, it would be nice to even appeal to the Ministry of Tourism to support my project.
Yeah.
Because even the Ministry of Tourism, this is one way of promoting the Ministry of Tourism. Even if the topic is a dark one, but the Ministry of Tourism is not it's not actually kept quiet so much.
Yeah.
So with the Ministry of Tourism, you find that even they can actually promote a lot of the travel and tourism industry, and there's so much that can be able to be promoted courtesy of the Ministry of Tourism, which is why if there are people in the Ministry of Tourism who would like to work with me in this project, well, they're welcome to get in touch with me so that we can discuss how Mombasa Raha, my food can be done, because my main projects were literature and film. Those two were the main avenues that I used in making Mombasa Raha, my food. So, of course, with the other avenues, well, this is my way also of promoting art and culture in Kenya.
Yeah.
This is also my way of bringing art and culture to a higher level in Kenya, because it's about time we did that. It's about time as a country we did that. And it's about time we took art and culture seriously.
Yeah. So, have you maybe discussed something with the likes of amref? Because I know amref used to do street children, those things. Eh?
Well, with amref, I have not discussed yet. I've not done any discussions with amref yet, but I would love to. Of course, if amref come across this and they come across my project, we can discuss about how we can make these, both the book and the film, to be widely distributed across Africa and even worldwide. Because I handled with Amazon the matters of distribution worldwide. I did that through Amazon, and other websites like Kobo, Apple Books, even Scribed.
So you in all those other platforms, eh?
Yes.
So can you maybe tell our viewers all those platforms that they can get your books, eh?
Yeah, because there's Scribed, Apple Books, Rakuten Kobo, Amazon. Amazon is where you can find the paperback and hardcover editions, and also you have other websites. Well, there are some that I cannot remember because I've published in a lot of them.
Once you remember.
But I actually made sure I published them, and locally, the book is found at the Nuria store. So the Nuria store is one of the best bookstores that have been promoting a lot of local books that have come up. And even when locally you cannot find the book, Amazon is the best option, because with Amazon there's the security aspect of your product being delivered through Western Union. So it feels safer to buy your to buy Mombasa Raha through Amazon. That's before I get a publisher who's going to come on board and discuss with me about the royalties, because I definitely would like my own royalties.
Absolutely.
And considering Amazon, they've already taken their own percentages. With matters Amazon, the author is the one who gets the bigger percentage. So of course with publishing deals, that's the same thing. Of course for me, 60% of the royalties are mine.
Or 70.
And
or
60 or
Should be
70.
90.
Or even 90.
Yeah, the one you do work.
Because it's your book, eh?
Yeah.
90. Of course 90% of the royalties go to me.
Yeah.
And then the rest, zinaenda sasa to the publishing
the
house.
publisher, yeah.
And then of course with matters advertisements, well, mostly online.
Do you do your own advertising?
I have to do my own advertising. I have to do my own work with advertising the book. That's how I sometimes share a few excerpts of things I've written, alongside with a link to Amazon mostly. And considering PayPal and Amazon do not get along so well, the best option is Payoneer. The best option for you to receive your funds is Payoneer, because Payoneer accept any bank account worldwide.
Okay. It doesn't have any like limitations like PayPal.
No, it doesn't have limitations. With Payoneer, it's a lot easier to use Payoneer to work.
Yeah, we are not advertising Pioneer. We are just maybe giving you that knowledge that there's some better paying method.
And also with matters proofreading and editing novels, that's something I can easily do for you. So if you're an author out there and you'd like your book to be proofread and edited, and you'd like some things also, you'd like to learn some things also, that's something we can discuss about. Of course, that's something we can discuss at an affordable price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And I'll be able to do some very good editing work for you.
So with that, where can people find you online? Like someone wants maybe you to proofread, or they want to talk about maybe getting involved in your film adaptation, or where can they find you?
Maybe even support your work.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find me on Facebook, or you can find me on Facebook through the name Haroun Risa. Well, I'm not the type to use nicknames. So Facebook and Instagram and WordPress, you can find me through the name Haroun Risa. So of course with WordPress, I just do my own blogging, hapa na pale. Sometimes I write a few articles kidogo, but mostly you can find me through Facebook, Instagram, and also I don't use it so much, but LinkedIn. Even LinkedIn, you can be able to find me on LinkedIn as well.
Would you be comfortable maybe sharing your phone number for any extra support in case?
Well, with the phone number is +254 796 591 559. So that's how you can be able to reach me, so that you can be able to place an order for proofreading or editing work. Or if you'd like actually to, buy a PDF copy as well, a PDF copy is 1,500 Kenya shillings.
Yeah. So imagine someone wants to support you.
Yeah.
through maybe sending some amount of money, some cash. For Payoneer, do you use email like PayPal?
With Payoneer, actually, you actually use email.
So we are going to put his email on the description if you'd like to support through maybe sending cash for but make sure you buy the book, then you do the
The link is going to be available on the description.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that the Amazon link is there so you can find both the paperback and the hardcover edition of the first book and even the other 3.
Exactly.
Even the other 3 that are following Mombasa Raha, my foot, because with the other 3 you have the second novel talks about mostly breast cancer and crime. The third novel is mostly domestic violence and the tug of wars between family members. The fourth novel talks about FGM and how FGM has continued to be practiced both here in Kenya and Somalia, but on a fictional aspect.
Okay.
But FGM does exist, both in Kenya and Somalia. The fourth novel is called Blindfold. So the fourth novel is what I decided to use to raise awareness against FGM in Kenya.
Wonderful. I think you're covering everything. So
Yeah.
maybe final words to directors. We have philtv in Kenya, the actors,
We
movie
have
directors,
Rashid.
Rashid Abdallah. What can you tell them?
Well, with film directors, of course, I'd be honored to work with all of you with your projects, and of course, malipo ni kitu mzuri, so lazima malipo ikuwe ni kitu ambaye ni malipo inaeleweka, not just to the company but kwangu pia.
Yeah.
Because of course all this is a career.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all this is a career. So, of course, with matters content creation, with matters stories, if you're looking for someone, if you're looking for a scriptwriter who you would like to start a TV project with, I'm someone we can easily discuss with. We can actually do some fruitful projects pamoja. We can always just meet and discuss about the project that you would like to pitch to the TV stations. And that's how tunaweza anza.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So are you on YouTube? Because
Yes.
I'm seeing nowadays a lot of even film directors
yeah.
are doing
Short
short
movies.
movies which really trade on YouTube. So
Yeah, I created a YouTube account recently. There's a YouTube account I started to put all the video clips of everything that I've been able to do.
Okay.
So I started a YouTube account.
What
It's-
tell them.
Yeah, the YouTube account is Haroun Risa.
Oh,
Wow.
just your
Everything.
name.
Just my-
Okay.
Simple man.
Mm,
Haroun Risa.
just my name.
Wow.
Okay. So guys, even that will be in the description. The link, just hit there and go subscribe. Let's support each other as Africans, as Kenyans, as the people of the world,
I look forward to working with filmmakers from the African continent and making stories that we will actually tie both Kenya and another African continent. So this is something I also look forward to doing with my career. So I look forward to working with filmmakers from across the African continent.
I think it was an honor having you in our channel and you sharing your story, us learning and understanding where you're coming from, with all this creativity. It's so creative.
Yeah. I'm like
We are so
dumbfounded.
Well,
so
starting on
much.
phone is something
Wow.
that you have to do yourself, because for me, I didn't even have a laptop at that time. So I'm just starting with what you have. So I looked around and I was like, okay, maybe the only thing I have is a phone.
Wow. And
So
there's
he's
somebody
the-
complaining, I don't have anything.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
has a phone in his hand.
I only had a phone
in fact,
university.
Don't you think some can even start by scribbling on the
On paper.
book like
Yeah, you
used to
start
do?
with by doing story structure. Actually, with things like story structure, you just scribble on books.
Yeah.
You just scribble on paper.
So if you're out there and you're trying to start something, I guess there's no other time
No
to start
excuse.
than now. There's no excuse. Just take your tools, whatever you have, whatever is out there on your reach, grab it and start something. You've heard Haroun, very interesting story, very inspiring story. In fact, I'm very inspired. I'm going to
And
start
yes,
a lot of things.
my autobiography is something that I will release.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
After,
Definitely.
after the film is done, that's when I will be comfortable enough to release the autobiography.
Do you know his autobiography is actually another film?
It's basically, I was told by so many people have told me that this is something that someone can play you.
The few
Exactly.
minutes where
And then me, I'm like,
he's
really?
told us, it's like you're just mesmerized. My goodness.
Exactly.
Wow.
Imagine.
Because of course if I started telling that story, I mean, we would be here by midnight.
It's true.
Because it's a pretty long story. But
Once this has been adapted as a film, you also need to think about based on a true story, your story. Like I want to watch that movie where some young man ran away from school and is
Imagine that
working
story.
and is in
Wow.
prison, all that. Yeah.
because with matters with the prison, of course, I had to use a fake name to be able to stay inside there without my police clearance certificate being ruined. Well, I didn't think about that at first because it's a police officer.
Like
police
right
officer.
now, you are gonna be the next biggest film director and scriptwriter, and then they go back to your record, to your
And then,
criminal
like,
record, like
wow.
how now, Haroun?
Yeah, so
that
the police officer is the one who wrote the fake name. But for me, I was like, let me just
I
use
think
this.
it's also
Still
an
a blessing in
advantage to your
disguise,
save it.
Yeah, so I think we need to close it here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for giving us an opportunity to
Nimeshukuru
listen
sana.
and to learn so much from you.
Asante.
We have learned. I'm so motivated. Guys, there's no need for complaining, Aki.
There's no.
You have heard his story.
Yeah, guys, to support, you reach out to him, and also we have all the information on our description. Go down there and read. You know, some guys don't read the description.
Yeah.
So go there and support him, buy the book, read, and I'm telling you, after the first 3 pages, you'll be on the page 200.
I look forward to your reviews on Amazon, the 5-star reviews. I look forward to you giving me the 5-star reviews on Amazon because the more reviews, the more people get to notice
Yeah.
this book. So there's even in the levels of African literature, the levels for the book has started to increase.
Right, eh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So of course, if it becomes an Amazon bestseller book, it's something I'll be very proud of.
Yeah.
I look forward for this book to become an Amazon bestseller novel, so that maybe even people like Oprah can review it in their
Sitting
Oprah
down
book
with
club.
them, true,
Yeah.
Because
And
I'd like even Oprah to do a review of Mombasa Raha, my food for Oprah book club.
Yeah, that would be
Wow,
great. Eh?
and that was a bold title, Mombasa Raha, my
My
food.
food, yeah.
That's
Because the preface explains everything. The preface chapter explains even what is Mombasa Raha. So that anyone who's not a Kenyan or doesn't understand Kiswahili understands what you're saying when you're saying Mombasa Raha.
Oh, nice. So, guys, our job is done here, and with that, we just have to say
Bye.
Bye.
See you in the next one. Thank you for watching.